Hello, hello. Happy Monday. It's Caroline again from Inherited Salt. I am developing a roast chicken recipe for my website this week, and I'm kind of creating my own version of my mother's infamous rubber chicken. And what I love about it, growing up with it, is that it makes multiple meals from one recipe. So, because I'm testing a bunch of chicken, I have my little leftover carcass here that we're gonna make some broth from. I'm gonna unravel him from all his plastic wrap. I've run out of bags, so this is how I'm storing things these days. But how is everyone's Monday? How is everyone's Mother's Day? How's their weekend? Do you have gray skies too? Because we do. We lost all of our good weather. It's kind of unusual for Oregon, actually. I mean, I know we are famous for our rain, and we do get a lot of rain, but normally with Oregon, it's rain for fall, winter, spring, but then the second the sunny season starts, it's just sun the entire time. So it's a little different this year, a little unusual, but so is a lot of things this season. Okay, ooh, bone fell in. Oh, a potato that fell away. All right, so it's very easy. Just got a little carcass in the stock pot, and we're gonna add these goodies. You can add some celery. You don't need to trim the ends, but you do need to wash it, which I've already done. I like to add at least 2 or 3 stalks. I really love celery. And then I usually just do one large carrot, because I'm not a huge carrot person, but I only have these kind of little guys. So I'm gonna do 2 of them, and I just trim the green off. But I don't peel, I just wash and scrub. Chop them, throw them in, and then I just have my onion. You don't have to take off the wrapper. And if you've seen my mother make broth, which I know she's done many a times, you should already know that. So, at least if you're using organic onions, which I am. All right. I like to do 2 onions, and I like to do 2 whole heads of garlic. And I just put it right down the center like that. If there's any whole cloves that don't get cut, I just smash them, throw them in. Right. We're nearly there. All right, I'm gonna add some fresh herbs. I have oregano and thyme and bay leaf. So let's get some of that in there. Okay, that's oregano. Got our thyme. And I'm just gonna do, I think 2 bay leaves probably. Just a good measure. And let's see here. I also like to add some whole peppercorns, not a ton, just like a spoonful. I'll just kind of throw those in. If you see in here, it's already looking really pretty. And we add a little, I don't have much, but a little apple cider vinegar. It helps draw the nutrients out of the bones. Again, another trick I learned from my mother. All right. And I'm hoping I have enough water to cover this guy so we can get started, but hang tight for 1 second.
Good. We are having a good weekend, Catherine. Thanks for asking. Yeah, this is the first day it's been rainy since, last week.
Yeah.
But it's okay, we could use it. What are we making? Somebody's asking. We're making broth, correct?
We're making rubber chicken broth.
Rubber chicken broth. I can show you out the window. We're going to be putting our chicken coop up there in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we're doing that little fence where you can kind of see through. We're going to clear that up a little bit and then put a chicken coop up there and some box gardens. So very excited about that. Have our own chickens, our own eggs. But yeah, so just to recap, we're making rubber chicken broth. Rubber chicken is a recipe my mom came up with when I was little. I mean, it was a couple decades ago, I think. And it's basically the idea that you can make one roast chicken like stretch into 3 different meals, hence rubber chicken. So you have the initial roast chicken, then you have broth, and you can use like if you have leftover meat, that becomes another meal, etc., etc. So I am myself getting ready to release my version of her infamous rubber chicken, but I do a few different things because that's how me and my mom are. We're very similar, but very different. And so I'm making kind of a version of her broth using what I have on hand. And since I've been testing a lot of roast chicken, I had a carcass ready to go in my fridge. So I'm using the carcass from one of my roast chickens from a few days ago. And we're gonna turn it into a nice, wonderful stock. And I'm just doing it on my stove. I'm not using the Instant Pot. My Instant Pot's kind of smaller, so sometimes it gets a little challenging with broth, especially when I'm putting in like a big whole carcass like this. I mean, I could break it down and that'd be fine, but it's just easier. I don't mind doing it on the stove top. And so we have the carcass, we have onions, we have celery, we have garlic, we have fresh herbs, we have peppercorns, we have a little apple cider vinegar. Now I'm gonna add some water.
We live in Oregon, close to Portland.
Yes.
We live like 15 minutes away from the city. It's a lot of farm area out here. Yeah, it's still nice right now. It's not quite raining yet, but it's been on and off all day. Have enough water?
Yeah. Almost, I mean, not as much water as I would like, because I like to cover everything evenly with water. But our water from the sink isn't drinkable, and so I'm waiting for my water filter to.
Well,
work its
we
hardest.
could drink it, but we think it might not be a good idea.
Well, it's well water, which isn't, and wells are typically great, but it's a well that we know needs to be replaced, and the pipes for the house are just all really old, and so you know, sometimes the water comes out a little orange or brown, and
just depends.
We just tend to avoid drinking that, so we think it's a safe call to just continue to filter. So I have to unfortunately keep waiting for water, but I mean it's very easy. We're almost at salt. I use kosher salt, so if some people are freaking out, it's not sea salt. Sea salt would be a whole other ballgame. It's kosher, which means you can be a little bit more liberal. I like it for cooking because it's more forgiving, because I love salt, and so I can oversalt very easily. And kosher salt, I use Diamond Crystal. If you use Morton's, I know that's a little stronger than Diamond Crystal. Broth. I don't know how long my little Berkey is going to take to filter water, so I can finish covering this and start heating it up. So I'll walk you through the steps since I can't really show them. What I'm going to do is once I get enough water, I'll cover it with water. So it'll probably be like filled up to here. And then I'll bring it to a boil. And as soon as it boils, I'm going to turn it down low, cover it, and let it simmer low and slow for maybe 1.5 to 2 hours. Then I'll taste it and see where it's at. I really like a clear, light broth, especially during springtime when we have all this wonderful produce that's starting to show up in our local stores and farmers markets. I think a really nice, clean broth shows off the vegetables a bit more. And I know my mom is usually like a much longer broth person. See, I told you we were different. Done later this afternoon. Well, afternoon for us, evening if you're on the East Coast. But anyways, I hope you all had a great Monday. Are there any questions I can answer before I sign off?
The last one was asking if we were near Bend, but no, not really. We're more north. We're really close to Washington.
Yeah, we're more west. Bend's probably 2 to 3 hour drive, I think, depending. We're 15 minutes from like downtown Portland and just an hour from the coast of Oregon. So we're in a pretty little spot. We really like it. So, yeah.
Perfect. Well, I think that's it. And again, she'll share a picture later on. If you guys have any questions, you can always just comment below and we'll get to answering that as well.
Yes. And whenever, I'm not sure what day, it'll probably be Thursday or Friday that I share my roast chicken recipe on my site, Inherited Salt. And it's really good. I actually do 2 birds instead of 1, because if you're going through the trouble to cook 1, I guess we'll have a second, because no one's ever mad about leftover roast chicken. And then think about all the broth you can make from it, and I make these little potatoes that go in it that cook really slow with the chicken, and then they like get really nice and savory, and cook in the chicken fat, and it's comfort food at its finest. So I'm very excited to share it. It will be coming soon. Once I get it up on my site, I will be sure to share it here on Saving Dinner as well. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. I will post a picture of my finished stock in a couple hours when it's all done.